When I was a little kid, I noticed my DS seemed to have little squares on the screen. I thought that was super cool. I was 6 though, so what did I know, really? Well, now I'm 17, going on 18 in a few months, and today I want to show you how to do the effect of a DS screen without Adobe programs. I don't like subscription services, so I'll be showing you this process in apps that don't have subscriptions that are forced on you to use the app effectively. 2 of the 3 did cost money, but not an extortionate amount. Alright, let's go. For my demonstration, I'm using a canvas that is exactly the size of an actual 3DS picture. I took the photo myself. It's 640 by 480 pixels. I know how big they are. Blessed 4:3 ratio. Something that helps is having a 3DS you can reference from for how it looks. I have that, but you may not. However, if you do this tutorial, it will look fine anyways. I believe in y'all. This is more based on the lower screen for the visuals. Let me know if you'd like me to figure out how to get the slightly different vibe of the top screen. First, you want to have your image. I suggest exporting a transparent PNG of what you want to have the DS effect on. For example, if it's a whole image, then honestly, it doesn't actually need to have transparency. But if you only want the focus of the image to have the effect, then you have to separate it from the layers behind it, so you can put a clipping layer on the focus of the image later. Then you re-import your image to your project and put it above everything else. You take your image and then duplicate it. This is so if you want to later, you have an easy way to tone down the strength of the effect if you realize it looks weird or too strong. In a layer on top of this duplicated layer, you add a grid. I made these grids myself. The grid is in the description. I will slowly add other sizes of grids as I have time to make them. I suggest setting it to multiply if you have colors on the grid. Adjust the layer's opacity to about 15% if you'd like. It depends a little on what you are making and the colors sometimes. Underneath that, you can now edit the layer. First, add a slight blur. Gaussian blur is the best kind I've found, but if your program doesn't have that, then you can just use a blur tool or a normal blur. Just make sure that it's consistent over the whole image. Next, add a slight chromatic aberration. If your program has no aberration filter, then you can do it by hand. Create a new, blank layer. Fill it with black or white, they'll end up looking the same anyway, and add a noise filter set to maximum. You can grab a noise PNG from the internet if the program doesn't have a noise filter. Turn down the opacity to around 5%, basically just until it makes things look crunchy but not like you put noise on it, since the DS screen doesn't have a lot of that. I've found that the colored noise is what looks best, but it doesn't matter a lot. Create a new layer above everything and fill it with this color of gray and set it to 30% opacity and the luminosity setting. Honestly, a lot of this is vibes based, so go with your gut. If you have a DS, you can also use it as a reference yourself. Here are a few examples in other programs so that you can see that it's not specific to just one program. So as you can see, this is a way that you can create an image that looks like it's from the screen of a 3DS. I hope this helped.